Oh, hey, good to know I'm being filmed again. Unfortunately, I did not receive any reception on the last issue, so don't expect me to make any more Kyle anytime soon. From now on, my internet life is going to be nothing but bitching, tweeting, and scrolling through the Mountain Dew wiki. I'm sorry if this news disappoints you. If it does, you should have said something last time. Oh, hang on, I'm getting a call. Yeah?
Ciao, buona giornata a te. Vado al mercato a tagliare la testa.
Yeah, oh, hang on, let me text you a thing of things I want to get. Alright, thank you. Sorry about that. But yeah, oh, hang on, I gotta take this one as well.
Listen here, motherfucker. I come here expecting you to embarrass yourself. And if you don't start making a fool out of yourself right now, I'm gonna take that camera and shove it up your fucking ass. You mean me get to work, you stupid bloated sack of shit.
Well, good to know I've gotten some feedback. Now, what did I say I would talk about last time? I think I'm gonna go with a failed pilot first. Right! And the name of that pilot is going to be said by me, but first I've got to show you this cool trick I learned. Extend the arm, go! Back onto the pilot I said I'd be talking about this time on the show. The pilot is called Carlton Your Doorman. Who's Carlton? Well, luckily for you, I got some background to provide. Carlton Your Doorman is an animated pilot for a spin-off series about the titular character, Carlton. Carlton began as an off-screen character in the 70s sitcom series Rhoda, which in turn was a spin-off of The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Carlton?
Hello, this is Carlton, your doorman.
Yeah, Carlton, what's the idea of letting Lenny in when I wasn't here?
But he said he loved you. We don't get many of those.
Carlton,
Could we cut this short? I got some guys from Goodwill coming up from a pickup here.
Carlton, oh, boy.
Carlton was voiced by the late great Lorenzo Music, who you may or may not recognize as the original voice of Garfield.
You forgot the anchovies. Don't worry, you'll remember next time.
The pilot aired on CBS in 1980 to little fanfare, but it did turn out to be a moderate sleeper hit because it did end up winning the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program. Despite winning a fucking award, neither MTM, CBS, or Murakami Swenson decided to make it a full series. In terms of American broadcasting, the pilot did not receive a single rerun, but it did eventually air again on overseas networks during the former half of the 80s decade.
And at 8 o'clock, an Australian special.
You gotta have arms like pistons.
Graham Pawn stars in Rubbish.
So if the pilot was good enough to win an Emmy, is it good enough for you, the YouTube viewer, to appreciate it as well? Let's find out. If you've never seen an episode of Rhoda, I haven't either, you should note by now that Carlton is a voice-only character. He's never seen on camera with the exception of that one time where he wears a gorilla suit, but for the most part he's only heard. So what does he look like now that he's got a show all to himself?
Hello, this is Carlton, your doorman.
I wasn't expecting much. Carlton has his morning routine, deals with his cat and his mother, and probably heads off to work as seen by the intro sequence. Despite how simple the theme song is, I can't help but find it both catchy and an earworm, and with good reason. Take a listen. Coincidentally, Music also recorded a single as Carlton back when Rhoda was still brand new.
Who is it? Who is it? Who guards the doorway whenever he can?
This is Carlton, your doorman. Now, some people say that I'm nosy, that I pry into all their affairs. But I say, if you don't want me to know about it, then you better sneak it up the back stairs. 'Cause I'm the type of a person who likes people. I'll stick with you right to the end.
This is a really good follow-up to Who Is It? Once that's over, the plot takes effect of Carlton mistaking his boss for a freeloader and being assigned his duties for the day. One of them being to walk his boss's dog. He gets set down at his office and begins to do his job.
Hey, don't come down on me. I don't make the parking rules.
Then he gets around to walking the dog, but before he can do that, he's got a drink. So he heads up to get the dog, only to fall for a seduction trap. Oh no!
Come on in. The water's fine.
This is crazy, Mrs. Shaftman.
The idea that Mrs. Shaftman is a sex-driven character and wants nothing more than to chin her husband is pretty odd. It's such a specific character trait that could be applied to anyone. We already know that Carlton's thirsty, as proven by those books he has, but isn't that enough? So Carlton's doing the task and runs to his mother at work.
Competition. Here you go, Carly.
It's never explained what her job is besides acquiring cloth for something, but we can make assumptions. After we see that, Carlton gets horny and starts jogging to talk to this woman he just saw.
So, let's say we don't waste all this heavy breathing on jogging.
Bug off, creep.
Okay, we don't have to drink.
It doesn't work whatsoever. But then, yeah, he gets the dog buried and now he has to break the news to his boss.
This, Mr. Shaftman, but your dog, committed suicide.
But maybe he doesn't, because look, that dog looks just like that dog. Can he get it? He can't get it. If they have a puppy variant, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Carlton gets his GF, according to most wiki sites, this character is Carlton's confirmed GF, to dress up his cat to look like the dog. It almost worked, but it didn't overall. He's honest with the Shaftman that instead of losing his job, he actually gets congratulated. Now I know what you're thinking. Carlton did a bad thing. Why is he being rewarded for getting a dog killed? Well, Mr. Shaftman tells him he never liked the dog and stated that Pumpkin was very old. So it didn't matter in the end. The dog's dead, and that's okay. While I too find this twist to be a little grim, I can't help but not take it seriously. Is this the reason why I never got picked up for a full series? Finally, the last shot we see Ian featuring the characters that we get to see before the credits roll is Carlton about to get mauled by his cat. Yeah, I don't know either. So that's the basic rundown of the pilot. Now that we know what it was like, all that's left to find out is, what went wrong? If this was good enough to win an Emmy Award, how is it not good enough to get turned into a series? Luckily, I have some theories. You don't care about them, do you? But I'm gonna say them anyways. The first one is the time it was made. Adult animation was still in its infancy during the early 1980s, with The Simpsons not even premiering until 1989, which had helped revolutionize the genre. Only Hanna-Barbera had tried their hand at the idea of a couple of shows at the time, the most successful of them being 1974's Wait Till Your Father Gets Home.
Admit it, Daddy, you're just vindictive.
All right, now hold it. You see, today is Sunday, not that I'm a religious man, but I feel on this day of worship, it would be wrong to strangle your children.
If I ever get my hands on that Season 1 DVD, I'll do a separate vid on it. But all I can say is that Carlton is very similar to the series. The tone is pretty much the same, that cool-ass art style is pretty close, and lastly, both utilize a laugh track.
Mr. Shaftman, but your dog, committed suicide.
This didn't apply to just adult animated shows at the time. If you were an animated TV series that was made between the years 1962 to 1976, your show was going to have a laugh track. Don't blame me, blame the Flintstones. Carlton's tone and style didn't really fit in during this time, as the TV animation landscape was changing to be nothing more than cookie-cutter shows meant to sell toys to little kids. Carlton is not that kind of series that's meant to tell kids, "Wow, did you know you can hold this thing in your hands? Oh my god!" Obviously, it wouldn't make sense to commercialize it, so it's clear to tell toy sales could have been a factor, but God only knows if that was actually the case. The next story I have regarding the pilot's rejection was probably the concept alone. This is a spin-off to a sitcom centered on a character that never made any physical appearances outside of a gorilla costume. And you're gonna give him his own animated series? I mean, if Laverne and Shirley can get a Saturday morning cartoon, then why not Carlton? Clearly the show would have had to have been changed slightly if the series were to be greenlit, as this probably is seen as out of place compared to other animated shows based on sitcoms and real-life people. But have you seen the other ones? I just brought up Laverne and Shirley joining the fucking army. But what about stuff like The Brady Kids, Partridge Family 22,000 AD, that series starring the guy who coined the term Jump the Stark? Gilligan's fucking Planet! You get where I'm going with this, right? Pretty much, Carlton would have been that one kid who sticks out compared to all the other animated spin-offs to primetime programs. I don't think the special is too adult, but it still could have been seen as just out of place back in the day. My last theory I have is probably based on how popular Carlton really was. When Rhoda first hit the airwaves in 1974, everyone loved the man, and I don't know why. It's probably because he's the comic relief of the show, like how Sheldon is to The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga!
If the character was successful enough to record a goddamn single, it should be okay to give him his own series. But of course there comes problems with that. Obviously you can't have Carlton be off screen all the time if he's the star of his own show. Hence why we finally get to see him in the flesh, at least in animated form. And secondly, the pilot aired in 1980, and Rhoda aired its final episodes in 1978. So by this point, God knows how popular the character was. Was there an immediate decline, or was there at least a very small community of fans? God only knows. I feel as though this played a huge role in CBS's decision to not move forward with the series. The idea that because Rhoda had already finished its run, there is no need for Carlton anymore because he's not popular anymore.
Goodbye, this is Carlton, your person.
Person? Carlton, please. I have police officers here. I have no time for games. What do you want?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that I'm no longer your doorman. I have been terminated.
What?
Don't apologize. I don't hold anything against you. I am too big a person to bear petty grudges. So I'd just like to leave you with one final thought.
So what are my thoughts on the pilot, you might be asking? Well, I really wish we got to see more. Surprisingly, the pilot did a good job hooking me on its premise, and it makes sure to do all it can to make Carlton and the others not a bunch of one-dimensional flimsy characters. There are some problems, of course. Some of the humor is a little too outdated, but it's not actually so bad. I would recommend giving this thing a watch so you can also see what could have been. If I'm gonna give it a rating, it's gonna be a 7.5 out of 10. It didn't last long, but it has a great hook that helps you understand why it won that Emmy. Overall, Carlton the Doorman is a relic of the past that I feel as though it should not be obscure as it is currently. It shouldn't be so obscure that you weren't able to watch it for 35 years. Yeah, surprisingly, Carlton the Doorman actually used to be lost media. CBS only aired it once and never repeated it during the original May 1980 premiere broadcast. There were some international broadcasts, but overall it became forgotten very fast. For the longest time, we only had pictures of the special online that tell us what it was like. Luckily, a guy managed to find 6 minutes of footage on a Video 2000 tape in 2016. Finally, somebody got the full special and dumped it online in early 2017. And then Shout Factory thought it was still lost and released a master copy as a bonus feature on the Rhoda Season 5 DVD set. If somebody has that DVD, please dump Carlton online. So in conclusion, I think Carlton the Doorman is a hidden gem to some degree. It's flawed, but it still has a lot to like about it. It's got a special charm that I can't explain it all too great, and the only way to get what I'm saying is to see it for yourself. Luckily, you can watch it on YouTube, illegally, or you could spend the $11 needed to get Season 5 of Rhoda. That's gonna do it for this issue. I have no further comment, and I'm gonna go back to mindlessly scrolling through the Mountain Dew wiki, so I hope you don't mind. Wow, you made it to the end of the video. Here's where I put a sneak peek of the next issue, but right now I'm stuck on what that's going to be, so I'll just leave this video here explaining to you why this thing is here and not just a regular credit scroll. Obviously, I could have just said whatever. Yes. But yeah, it's alright to say the credits are rolling, so, yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. man, this video sucked horse balls. But if you actually did manage to tolerate it, or at least like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want. Join our Discord server, follow the letterbox, follow the Twitter, anything involving the links or interacting with our content. I don't really care. I've been forced to say all of this. Now get me the hell out of here.